It is the Matt Mosley Show. Welcome in. Welcome to our large Twitter audience as well. Shout out to my buddy Adam, who's new to the show. Not new to me since we've known each other for going on 30 years now. But we were just having lunch, and I was telling him about the show. And Scotty, he signed up immediately. I sat there and kind of watched him. This is how I sign up people on YouTube now. I just, have them go to lunch with me. And by the way, thanks for lunch. Thanks for lunch, Adam, if you're watching. I appreciate that. Man, went over to Royal China today. Unbelievable. Some orange chicken with some fried rice, the egg roll. And then what comes with one of those lunch specials is some egg drop soup or the wonton soup, whichever you prefer. Scotty, live with a community. I live with women who have celiac. So it's rare that I get to partake in the Chinese food. And so it was nice to be a part of that today. And so lots going on. Cowboys drop one 44-30. That's what we're going to spend a lot of the day talking about. We'll also have some time set aside for Campus Confidential and a lot of the things going on. And we're monitoring, by the way, this situation with Matt Campbell, perhaps leaving Iowa State to go to Penn State. And they have botched this in every way possible. I would say a great landing would be Matt Campbell. He certainly had incredible, just a long success with Iowa State. Maybe not, maybe never quite made it over the top, but he's been a consistent winner there. He's been extremely loyal. He's had NFL teams interested in him. And as Scotty was informing me, the Penn State has certainly, it looks like, I think On3 and others are saying that they're closing in on maybe being able to sign him. Again, these things, we've seen these, they thought they had a shot at Sitake, the great Kalani Sitake, and they didn't. He stayed. Sitake, I think is the way it's really said. He stayed at BYU, the one who stayed. It's an interesting time in college athletics. Just when you think, Scotty, like, man, are you, they're going to run out of money, or this thing's broken, or this is not sustainable. Oh, let's get the federal government involved. Let's do this. Let's sign this. Oh, wait, Cody Campbell doesn't want us to sign this. Well, what about the score thing? I mean, what are we supposed to sign? What has guardrails? Oh, you mean this group that we put together and have this guy who's supposed to monitor all these NIL deals? Can you imagine somebody from like Major League Baseball, like a big time guy, like took some job that's supposedly supposed to be the kind of like the czar of NIL and making sure all this stuff is above board? You realize that's the most thankless and nothing. And again, the money may be great. In fact, I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it for what they're paying this guy. But there's nothing to it. These schools are all like still, they either front loaded their NIL money. What I don't want to happen is Baylor to go, well, we tried to, do it by the rules. We tried to go the guardrail. Well, listen, none of these other schools are getting sued. None of them are getting hauled into court. None of them are getting put on probation. They're out there trying to make it work under the current circumstances. Baylor is in the unenviable spot of not having an AD, having some people like Jovan and Cody doing a very nice job of trying to kind of keep things afloat at a crazy time. And Baylor won't even in churches, we announce our search committee. Okay, here's who's on the search committee. All right, we got Mosley out here. He's going to be looking for the pastor. He's going to work the West Coast. All right, we got Meredith. She's going down here. She's going to work on the Southwest. We're going to go hear all the pastors ready break. Baylor's just like, no. And I am in conversations with people that the president consulted. By the way, we've tried to have the president on. Apparently, there were a lot of people who asked to have her on, and so far, they literally had her do one thing with the Waco trip. And I mean, okay, that's fine. Again, Zach does a good job, and he asks all the right questions. But oh my gosh, if we're going to be transparent and have folks on, let's maybe more than putting them behind the paywall of the local newspaper. All right, put her on. I think she did a video, but again, and fortunately, I got to see it because I am a subscriber to the Waco trip. But the full Baylor family, it's not like the however many alums that we have. What do we have? How many do we have out there? I mean, my gosh, do we have 500,000? Do we have whatever the number is of the Baylor alums across the world who gather together to see what the president's saying? Oh, whoa, all right. I guess we need to subscribe to the Waco Trib. And I am a subscriber. I love it. So please don't anybody saying Mosley's complaining about the Waco Trib. I love it. Zach and Bryce are great friends of mine. They come on this show with me. But dang, man, I'm kind of amazed at this. And so I just want to be transparent about a few things. I have tried over and over and over again to get President Livingstone on. People yesterday are getting on me for being too nice to Dave. Well, I'll say this for Dave. There he was. He'd never done it in the past, talking about his on a day that they could have said, well, we're not going to do this, because that's not fun to have 5 of your recruits drop out on you in the last minute. It's a sign of everything that's happened. Yes, Dave played a part in it because of the losing, but also Mac, by getting involved in whatever he got, left everybody hanging. Left the whole community, left all of Baylor athletics hanging. All right, think about the people who are they're just working their gigs. They're going in there. They're going to meetings. They don't know if they're going to have jobs. They don't know who the new AD wants to bring in. You think he wants to keep everybody? No way. No way is that going to happen. So everybody's over there like, I don't know what's going on. But anyway, and maybe that's right. Maybe just letting her do one interview behind a paywall is what they wanted. I don't know. I mean, again, it doesn't have to be with me, but the thing I offer is I'm going to ask a lot of tough questions. I'm going to do it in a very respectful way, and I've got a great relationship with her. I mean, I think I would be, I mean, this is sounding kind of self-serving, but my gosh, I think I would be a prime candidate. Okay. Think of me next time you guys are setting up interviews. All right. Also, Scotty, the reason I started that rant is I just noticed, at a time when oh man, everybody's on the sideline. Okay. Let's see what's going on with Michigan State today. Michigan State hired Pat Fitzgerald. Guy had been out of coaching. They ran him out because they thought he should have known about the hazing that was going over at Northwestern. Had some hazing incidents. I don't know what the kids were doing over there. Sounds like what we were probably doing in fraternities back in the day. But they had some hazing, okay? We weren't treating the kids right. And ultimately, Pat Fitzgerald paid for it with his job. Now, he was having a bad season. But whenever this happened, I think he'd had a 1-10 season or a 2-9. Let's not act like he was going great. But they've rehabbed his image somehow through the court cases or whatever. I feel like his name was kind of cleared in some sense because I'm sure they tried to fire him for cause. I don't know. But Michigan State went and hired him. Everybody's happy there. So, Scotty, let me tell you what's happened there. This is interesting. Michigan State then announces in short order they've received a $401 million gift from Greg and Dawn Williams, supporting the university's and athletic department's fundraising initiatives, with the largest donation to the school and one of the richest in college sports history. They said their investment in both the university and the future of Spartan athletics reflects a bold shared vision. This moment will have a profound impact on generations of Spartans. Wow. $390 million for the athletic department's $1 billion fundraising campaign. Also, that was launched this week and promoted by former Spartan star and Basketball Hall of Famer Magic Johnson. All right, you guys want some NIL money? You guys need some money for the portal? I mean, you might. Look at what they did. Look at what they did. Had another bad season with a bad coach. And now, again, they have a functioning AD who made a change here. But, I mean, here is a university that has not been good at football. Baylor's actually had better seasons than it. They had one good season, and then they fired their coach because of a scandal. They're a scandal-ridden university, just like Baylor, except they don't always like fire everybody. They're kind of like, well, okay, let's get rid of this guy. Oh, this coach loses. Let's get rid of him. I mean, somehow, Izzo just rises above it all, even though these horrible scandals they have. They got these doctors that are up to stuff. I mean, they got bad scandals involving like Olympic athletes over the years. And yet here they go. Somebody comes in and goes, how's $390 million sound? You go, Mosley, Baylor doesn't have anybody. Oh, okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, did Paul and Alejandra Foster not give like $100 million gift to the Bears? Did McLean, when they were building that football stadium, not give $60 million? You're trying to tell me, Matt, we just don't have the money. We don't have the money raisers right now. We don't have the funding. We don't have a thing to sell to our donors. The donors are out there. The donors are absolutely out there. Okay. And this whole thing, Baylor doesn't have that kind of money. Baylor doesn't. Give me a break. Any AD worth his or her salt would come in and know exactly what to do to pump this thing up, to get some excitement, to reach back out to the fan base and know this is not going to be a pass the plate. Oh, we need 10,000 people to each give $200 and that'll give us blah, blah, blah. No. That's not how it works. It's not how it works in churches. It's not how it works in college athletics. There are people out there. I said this the other day, I think, Scotty, when I was in studio. Like somebody said, hey, Matt, do you know there's a kid at Baylor now and their dad is the owner of the Blackhawks. Oh, okay. Like a few years ago, the guy that Hormel, that runs the Hormel food chain or the meat or whatever that Hormel is, Spam or whatever they're selling, ham, Spam, the whole shebang. Hormel. It's like, oh, his kid, meet Mr. Hormel. I mean, it's not his name, but whatever. Meet this guy. His son's at Baylor now. They're out there. But the guys who have to go raise that, boy, Greg Davis used to be great at it. Baylor somehow ran him off. Good job, guys. Guy loves Baylor, played at Baylor, 6'9", hard to miss, incredible guy. Let's make sure we run him off. And Nick Florence does an incredible job, but you've got to have something to sell. I mean, you got to have a vision to go other than, well, we're just not doing very well. Yeah, we're losing. We lost all our recruits. We're not. So, Scotty, I'll just tell you what I'm hearing now is, and I love it because there's always people this time of year that start getting in this debate on whether or not they had enough talent. Now, we know they had great talent at wide receiver. We know they had great talent going into the season at running back, although they lost one of them. We thought they had a really good offensive line. It turned out they got linebackers hurt, pass rushers hurt. The ones that played weren't all great. The line, they just whiffed on. So you got a couple of things working. The thought is that I'm starting to hear come out of that building is that they're undermanned from a talent perspective in a big way. And the belief is it's because they're behind in NIL. Now you go, well, isn't that what any coach would say who just went 5-7 and did not meet expectations? Yeah, I get it. I get it. Usually in these cases, it's a little bit of both. All right. Was the coaching great? No. Were they? Do I think? And we had the same argument in 2023. You're 3 and whatever. You're 3 and 9, and you're 1 and 7, and you still have people saying the talent's there. The talent. Okay, really? Oh, really? Okay, they went 1 and 7 at home. You're going to tell me they just have like some kind of hugely talented roster, and then we got buffaloed. Then we all got buffaloed because it was Dave. And Mac didn't want to fire him for a lot of reasons. One was they owed him a lot more money. One was they loved him. Other people in the industry loved him. They're not going to give up on Dave. But the other thing is we're going to keep these kids. We're going to keep these DBs, these unbelievable young DBs. Where are they? These are the kids coming out of that 2023 season. The only thing good about that season was Caden Jenkins put up great numbers. I think Carl was putting up great numbers that year. We had a young Corey Gordon Jr., who I really liked a lot. I'm just trying to think of those players from that team, and they're all gone or not playing. Carl's not playing, I do think, I want to issue just a small clarification correction from yesterday. Scotty, our man Scruggs was on a roll, and he certainly knew a lot of these Baylor players. And he knew he had a lot of interesting things to say about all these groups, right? But now Grayson corrected us on something. He was saying that Baylor he was using to illustrate how Baylor made a bad, a bad personnel choice in they had that Brendan Betts, defensive lineman, and he played some as a freshman. I think the statement our guest made was that as a sophomore, he barely played at all. They didn't play him. And then he ends up becoming a very productive player at Florida, where he was like third leading tackler this year and a really good player, although he had a spitting incident early in the season. Grayson said that he was academically ineligible his true sophomore season, which is why he wasn't playing, and that Baylor wanted him back. And for whatever reason, I guess Florida maybe paid him more in the portal. Who knows? So just a little bit of a clarification there that that Baylor did not, obviously they found a good player there, and then he got away. He got away in the portal. So I think the thing Aranda said that resonated with me the other day is, we've got to look at every bit of our evaluation process. We've got to look at how we did this. What our guest said yesterday was that, hey, these guys have made some horrible personnel decisions. Well, I mean, he's not totally off. Whoever was out there lobbying for Samu, and by the way, my Aggie people were at the time like, we don't even know who this guy is. I mean, he didn't play there. And then they got another guy named Freelou. Did he come in from maybe Tulane or somewhere? I get my Tulane guys mixed up. There was a guy named Fobbs White who came in, and he actually had some moments for the Bears. Freelou, Scotty, where was he from? Was that Tulane? Do we remember where Freelou came in from?
Yes.
Okay, Tulane, got it. They just whiffed. I mean, you needed major help up the middle, and then Jackie gets hurt, and they get crushed earlier in the season with the quarterback run. They have no shot at stopping the quarterback. So I would say right now, I think the staff, and again, I'm just presenting this to you. It's not like don't shoot the messenger. Although I don't care if you shoot me. I mean, I do. I would not like to be shot, but if you're mad at me, I'm fine with that. I think they believe this roster was very much underfunded and that they did not have speed. So then it gets back into that debate. And I see, our old friend Drake gets involved in that debate sometimes of like, don't say there's not enough talent. There's not, well, I mean, like I looked out there at some point this year, Scotty, and it's like, Amarian's trying to run out there. Caleb, I mean, they're trying. They're sending Kyler out there, Jackie, but it was not to act like this was some kind of, now we thought it was going to be a decent defense, but they missed out on the year before. Lands is playing out of position, and you get him out there at defensive, get him out there at defensive end, or he's got a fighting chance. Your pass rushers were undersized. Amarian's not ready for that. Kamaran's not ready for that. The guy that got hurt, the real emotional injury they had earlier in the season. Now, I love that kid, and I'd love to see him back because I think he brought a little something, and he brought a little fire to this team. Scotty, jump in if I got this wrong, but it's Travion Barnes. Does that sound right? It's been a while since I've thought about him, but that has
both Travion Barnes and Phoenix Jackson got hurt early in the year.
Travion, Phoenix was number 45. I think Travion was number 36, if that helps you at all. So they did have injuries and they did have issues there. Are they underfunded? Probably yes, probably so. But that probably almost every team other than Texas and Texas A&M. It's never enough. You heard the guy we had on yesterday. You heard Jordan saying, well, Texas, somebody else was able to come in and get him. They didn't have enough money left for this guy. You're like, what? Really? But somebody flipped a Texas player, believe it or not. I guess it happens once in a blue moon. They lost 2 players. I mean, Baylor's not the only team, apparently, that loses players on signing day. They lost 2 players, flipped on them. One to Auburn. Cannot remember the other one. One was an Auburn kid, and then so anyway, I'm trying to remember all the kids that had flipped and done all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it was another. The Novosad class was a rough one because it just that was supposed to be kind of the headliner, and then he flips and goes to Oregon, and then we say what we always say, Scotty. We go, well, kind of like with this kid, Jamarian Carlton, and the same thing with Jamarian Vincent. We say, well, they came in, paid them. We can't match that. We can't match that. But from what we heard with Carlton, they were extremely competitive with their money. And the money was relatively close. Now, could Texas have come in and trumped that money? Yes. Does it help that Baylor's playing in front of 20,000 people, just another miserable loss, and that kid is surrounded by Bevo and 105,000 fans at UT and just witnessing all that? I mean, I get that these kids are from here, and maybe some of these kids will come back home, but it's hard to recruit against that. Come on. This Baylor program right now just does not have any juice or any excitement around it. Now, are they capable of doing it and getting that going? Maybe. I mean, what if they got hot in the portal? What if suddenly we start going? Because, Scotty, I'm preparing for this. Our friends Grayson and Colt and the whole gang, once these portal kids start rolling in, right? It's Arkansas. Oh, he's from Washington. He played at Washington. Oh, this kid was at Nebraska. Like we'll convince ourselves, but I'm not going to do it this year. I'm gonna. By the way, when I start talking like that, Scotty, I'm trying to channel. There's a video of Mike Leach I saw recently. That was one of my favorite Leach videos of all time, where he was talking about how ridiculous the committee is. the college football playoff committee. And I loved his tone because he was just like, oh, that's a good guy. We'll go get that guy. That's a good guy. He would be good on the committee. He's a good guy. Like to me, he had a lot of funny stuff. His committee, his rant on the college football committee, I thought that was maybe his best ever. And so I find myself thinking of Leach and even trying to emulate the great Leach at times, although nobody can be that weird. I mean, I can be a little weird, but he's got he and I kind of had similar hairstyles and similar body builds, just kind of heavier guys, and just almost maybe had a bit of a similar look to us. But anyway, we lost a great one there. All right, Scotty, we do have, golly, man, we haven't even gotten to all our, I've been digging in. Scotty's going to have some campus confidential. Scotty, I do think, though, for our crowd, we probably need to get into reacting to some of that Cowboys game. We'll hear from Dak Prescott, and we'll talk about the season. And, again, I want to remind our large – in fact, Scotty, I'm going to see it here. I'm sure you put it out there. I always like to find the Twitter and then repost it. All right, Scotty. Where is it? I like our live Twitter crowd. Did you not tag me, sir? Anyway, I'll find it, and I like to retweet that. But I would like to encourage all our Twitter people that are on with us via premium Twitter to sign up for the YouTube channel. And we had people signing up today. The nice gentleman that took me to lunch today just said, hey, how do I find this? I'm like, here, look at the Matt Mosley show. And then boom, it was there. And he's a subscriber. And now he, and soon he'll be semi-retired. And really, I think in retirement, what a lot of people look forward to is just watching the Mosley show. I looked forward to just not doing anything, but I'm not really close to that right now. Okay. It is the Mosley Show. We continue. And thank you, Central National Bank. Thank you, CNB. And thank you for taking care of being the Baylor women's basketball program primary sponsor, and then being the Mosley Show primary sponsor. And thank you to the talented doctors at Ascension Providence. We've met pretty much all of you in recent weeks, and even the chaplain. I tell you, good bedside manner with that chaplain that dropped by. And if I find myself needing a chaplain, which honestly is almost like a daily thing for me, that's someone I would reach out to. Very just calming. And I've known a lot of hospital chaplains, believe it or not. And they're people that just they have a really good spirit about them. And they're what you don't want is kind of the funeral home feeling of people. And sometimes those people, they have such a quiet spirit that it kind of brings you down. And by the way, we love funeral homes. If you want to advertise, come on. But these chaplains just have a tremendous spirit and really put you in a good spot from a mental health standpoint. Okay. I think a lot of people are kind of wondering how my mentals are right now. Okay, Scotty, let's talk some Cowboys. Let's do it next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform
at your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When Central National Bank decided to partner with Baylor women's basketball, we were hoping Coach Collin would bring that championship mindset to do whatever she has to do to take our workplace culture to the next level.
Well, these donuts are pretty good.
Guys, how we doing?
We're good, Coach.
Craig! What are you doing?
What do you mean?
You have to dunk it.
So far, I think our employees are really enjoying it.
Not everything's a basketball thing.
Did you say something, Craig?
No, ma'am.
That's what I thought.
Dude, I think she likes you.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Baylor Nation rolls along with Allen Samuels Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Start with award-winning service and factory-trained techs. Then shop our new and used lineup from cars, trucks, to SUVs, all makes and models. Running a business? We're your Central Texas headquarters for ProMaster vans, cabin chassis, and work trucks. For power and comfort, test drive the Ram 1500, the Motor Trend Truck of the Year winner again. Allen Samuels in Waco, proud partner of Baylor Athletics.
Come by. Let's be friends.
Bubble wasn't here. I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
At Covers and All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. We deliver premier protection at affordable prices and express shipping. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
Better sleep, inspired by nature. Your back, hips, and shoulders will fall into perfect alignment in any position, meaning that you get deeper, more comfortable rest. Visit ecoterrabeds.com.
Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
Is your Mac running slow? Mac Booster 8 is your all-in-one solution to clean up 20 types of junk files. Get your Mac running like new again with Mac Booster 8. Visit macboost.net today.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
At Mapiful, we believe in celebrating your journey. Our unique personalized products are designed to boost your confidence. From custom home decor to meaningful gifts, we help you cherish the memories that make you who you are. Visit mapiful.com and start celebrating your story today.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
WhyPersonalLoans.com. Request a loan anytime. Our partners can offer loans up to $35,000 with varying rates and terms. Review your loan offer with no obligation and decide what works for you. Visit PersonalLoans.com today.
This is what $500,000 in a duffel bag looks like. Actually not real. That's because it's actually prop money. It looks realistic from a distance, but up close you can see it says for motion picture purposes. Visit PropMoney.com today to get your money seen or money shot right with Prop Money Inc.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. That's ULIKE.com. U-Like.
VivoSun's mission is to empower growers with stylish and effective products, making indoor growing accessible and enjoyable for everyone. Visit vivosun.com today and get started making growing plants and vegetables easy and automatic.
It's Mosley Show on this. The season is here. The lights are up. I think maybe I'll go ahead and put the tree up. I don't know, tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm kind of a Christmas tree procrastinator, but I'll get something going on that front, and we'll see what we can do with it. Wanted to say real quick, Scotty, I saw Fank out there on Twitter, who always kind of an interesting follow. FANK said that if Matt Campbell goes to Penn State, that the longest tenured Big 12 coach would be Dave Aranda. I started thinking about like how long Kalani has been at BYU and things like that, but they may be thinking about, BYU's only been in here for whatever, 3 or 4 seasons. So kind of interesting. Dave Aranda, the longevity, the man who somehow made it. And one of the things we talked about with Aranda the other day was that, they're going to have to overhaul their evaluation process. And with the big misses in the portal, that the word traits came up, will be bigger than ever. And they're looking at everything. They're looking at the way they lift weights. They're looking, and again, I'm still kind of baffled as to why something was asked about with Dave, are you going to be involved in the AD search? Have they talked to you about that? I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, again, this man, and Dave had that look on his face, kind of like I would have, like, no, I'm not gonna, like, I am only here. I am only standing here before you now because an AD got into some trouble away from the building. So I'm probably not going to be out there on the search committee hoping to find his successor. They're probably not going to pull me into that. Now, I know some of the people that President Livingstone has reached out to. And, there are people at varying places that have told her Baylor has to hire someone who understands our culture, understands the Baylor culture. And I think there's some people that think, just please, someone who's above board, that won't get involved in a scandal, and somebody who could, the fan base is important, like somehow finding a way to get the fan base even more than just graduates. But what this really comes down to, this is you really should go out and hire someone with just a massive fundraising background, or someone that's had to go out and raise like millions upon millions in funding for a business, or like a private equity type person. Like, that's what you need in this day and age. You need somebody, and not somebody that would listen to somebody go, people are tapped out. That's the biggest lie ever told. People are tapped out. Okay, there may be some people who are tired of having to do it. There may be like a handful of people like Jeremy Fudge or the Fosters, or, I don't know, James Perry, maybe. I don't know. There may be a few donors that are just like, geez, man, y'all going to keep coming to us? That maybe, I don't know. They've never complained to me. I know all these people. They've never said, oh, I'm tapped out, or I'm not going to give anymore. No, they'll continue to give at a high rate. But there are tons of people out there on the sidelines just waiting. I mean, you had a gift that I was talking about earlier today from Michigan State that comes in the neighborhood of $390 million. A single gift from a family. You go, well, Baylor doesn't have anybody that makes that much. Oh, really? Okay. Thought there were a couple of billionaires I knew about. There's ones we don't know about. It's just it's a great thing that people have been as successful as they are. But do not let people tell you Baylor's tapped out. Oh, we just don't have big of a fan, but a donor base. We don't have that big of a deal. They're out there. And the promise of a new regime, a new vision, the AD selling people. If you get the right, kind of AD. Now, I had people calling me that were like, well, why don't we try something different? Why don't we? And I'm all for that. But I think in this mode right now, especially what Baylor's going through, they need some form of stability. So bringing in some now I would be all for if they decided to go with like some kind of, new look at personnel evaluations, or, have like a true big time, like NFL type evaluator or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of interesting things that you could do. I'm all for some of that stuff, but I don't think you can just completely blow up the model of what an AD is right now, because Baylor desperately needs stability. That's another thing also that the Cowboys need. And Scotty, I'll ask for that Dak thing and maybe that Richard Sherman thing here in a minute. But wow, there they are. They as only the Cowboys could do. They start the second quarter. They start the second half. They're already down 20-9. Then they're 27-9, and here they come. Here comes the massive comeback, even after CD's hurt, even after Pickens is just out there chasing cars, just out there looking like he's in a different world, like he might have sniffed on something before he got to the game. I mean, it was just like, what's going on with George? Anybody seen George? Oh, yeah. Oh, George, by the way, we're down 14. We're going to throw you a deep ball. Oh, man, I'll get to that one later. Yeah, that wasn't like right on my path. I don't think I'm going to cut back and try to catch that ball. Wow. I've never seen a man who was like universally praised and had everything going his way just show up and not care, look like he didn't care. Now, Jerry has stopped short of saying that. Schottenheimer has stopped short of saying that. Dak did come out and say he didn't play to his standard. George didn't play to his standard, and he said he'll be the first one to tell you that. Good for Dak. Good for Dak. Sometimes okay to call out a teammate. Guy didn't. He's been incredible, and he just kind of was lackadaisical. And I'll hand it to. Herb Street's not one of my favorites because, quite honestly, I don't think he knows the NFL that well. He certainly knows the college game, and he knows a lot of the college players that have come into the NFL, but I don't think he studies the NFL enough to have like great takes on what he's seeing. But he did call that immediately, that George was not competing at the top of his routes, and he was just not coming back for the ball and helping his quarterback. And you kind of saw Dak like, dude, come back, put your hands up, come back, try to come back for the ball. I mean, that was really bad at a time when you're talking about, oh my gosh, how is George this way with Pittsburgh and had all these problems on the field and hollering and getting in trouble during games and being immature. And now he's with the Cowboys and he's going to get this huge contract and he's unbelievable. And he still has had a great season. And he didn't undo all of that in this game. But what a bizarre time to do a no-show. Really? I mean, just hey, man, I'm here in Detroit. I'm just not feeling it tonight. George, is something going on personally? You got an injury? Has something happened? Like, what's going on? I mean, no, CD had some drop problems. CD played beautifully, by the way. He had one of those scary concussion deals, had to leave the game. You saw his fingers do that weird thing that people that have head injuries do. Ooh, I saw it live, and I just thought that's bad. That's a really bad sign. It's a almost a automatic, involuntary response to having an immediate head injury, and they call it something. I can't think of it. Scotty, one of our concussion doctors from one of our neuroscientists from Ascension could probably tell us, but there's that little reaction that happens with your fingers or your hands when you have a head injury. That was bad. George didn't have any excuse. George just out there looking like, everything's fine. He just decided not to compete on this night. Now, Scotty, do we have? I was wanting to see if we had Richard Sherman's last night on. Richard Sherman is not afraid to go after anybody, and he was a guy that would get in fights on the field. He was a great cornerback for the Seahawks. He was part of the Legion of Boom. And then, of course, he became Richard Sherman, went on, finished up, I believe, with the 49ers, if memory serves correct. Richard Sherman's now part of the site, the halftime and pre and post game for Amazon Prime. Scotty, let's see what Richard Sherman had to say about the way George Pickens played last night.
The big story here is George Pickens. George Pickens throughout the game, especially late in the game, just looked uninterested in playing football. And that's what you can't have. If you're going to be a superstar, if you want to be the best receiver in the National Football League, you can never be disengaged. It doesn't matter if the game's going your way or not going your way. You can't just disappear in these games or else you're not going to have impact. And just right here, cruising routes. You're the guy. You're the guy. CD Lamb is not in this game. He's out, and you get intercepted on your slant routes, and you can't be the guy and half-ass it. And I'm sorry, that's just, you can't, it's unacceptable. And if you're the Dallas Cowboys and you're looking at him and you're looking to pay him big-time receiver money, $40 million, you got to look at this tape and say, hey, is this a guy we can trust paying $40 million to show up regardless of circumstance? I don't know.
Dazed and confused is the way he looked over there in that shot. Richard Sherman calling him out. I mean, I also thought the coverage units were dazed and confused. Scotty, let's see. They returned three of the one guy returned three of the kickoffs. His name is, I had it last night. Not a guy I totally knew. Number 85, kind of a stocky, bigger. He's not your sleek, upright, fast sprinter return man that we've seen a lot over the years. And, God, what is his name? Anyway, he had 3 returns against the Cowboys last night. And he averaged 40 yards per return. He had 42 was his longest. You got to kick it down there in that little kicking zone. They got the best kicker in the game. But that only matters when he's kicking those 63-yarders. You can't really do anything about the new kickoff rule. You got to put it down there in that little zone. So you just got to kind of pooch it down there. And he gets the ball, and he would just rip it up there to around midfield every time. Their touchdown drive, Scotty, if you look at it, it's like 50, 45, 24, or no, 14 on the one where they got the interception down there early in the second half. But it was like 51, 54, 49. It's like, wait, why are they going on these short drives against a defense that we knew was suspect? We knew they weren't going to, like, shut everybody out. Now, last night, they couldn't cover some of the same old things that would happen. I mean, they had no chance. Marquise Bell's chasing Amon St. Brown around. Really? I mean, like, what are you devising that ends up with those two on each other? And I know the other side can do its thing too, but what in the world are you coming up with that you allow that to happen? Just people, just an odd situation. And then Reddy Stewart couldn't cover. And then Siobhan Ravel, who's a good rookie, and I'm excited about him, had a rough game. I mean, on one play, he didn't really understand where he was supposed to be in the zone. And that guy, Taslay is how you say his name, the receiver for the Lions, just literally floated back behind him for the easiest touchdown you'll ever see. It's just not a team that defended well. They were on short fields. And then the Cowboys they couldn't cover anybody. They didn't pressure a whole lot, and they didn't adjust. I mean, one of the things, Scotty, that we saw was like, Detroit went to the quick game. And, I mean, everything was just like, poof, poof, poof. They didn't even do it with the running game. They had the one great run from Montgomery. I think they ended up with 109 rushing yards. It's not like they killed the Cowboys on the run. But the quick game, and they got like Jahmyr Gibbs, he had 3 touchdowns in this game. That's the most under the age of 24 since Barry Sanders. I think he's at 47 now. He's not even 24 years old. And in space, Murray was getting juked out of his drawers. Bland had no chance in space against him. They're not even, they traded for Logan Wilson. He's not even really getting to play. It just, at some point, if a team that the Cowboys have been doing a lot better with pressure, they were not going to have Jadeveon Clowney in this game. We found out right before the game. He was a game time decision. Clowney wasn't able to go, and they didn't get pressure on the quarterback. Well, why is that? Why is that? Well, because you're three-step drop and the ball's out. They're throwing to Gibbs in the flat. They're throwing to Gibbs across the middle. They're throwing, even when they got a tiny bit of pressure, ball's still coming back. He's on his back foot. He hits, ball's out. Ball's out. And half the time, Jameson Williams is down there on a ball that's just floating. And they've given him so much cushion that he's he literally, it felt like he could fair catch some of those. And Goff had a great night. Goff had a great night. Dak put up great numbers. I think some of this you could put on Pickens. It was not consistent enough. They're not good in the red zone. They have to kick, and they got a wonderful kicker. And that was the only reason they were in the game, because he made like 5 field goals. But if you're having to get 15 points, 15 of your 30 points via field goals, that's not great. That's not a great recipe. You say, well, Matt, usually if you score 30, you're going to be okay. Yeah, I guess. Not with this team. Not with this team. That's not always the case. And they got beat 44-30. They got, let's see, Detroit had 5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, and 2 interceptions. They haven't hit that level in a game since 2007. Wow, okay. 18 years removed from a game like that. And the Cowboys can't hold on to the ball. You got a tight end who makes mistakes. He made a huge, he had a one where he hit a guy in the face. So they called that, and that offset a Cowboys penalty, a pass interference that would have put them down there on like the 2-yard line at one point in the game. That was the one, really big time play Pickens made. He at least ran down there and got interfered with, and then it came back because of something Jake Ferguson did. And yet they had a chance. They had a chance late. And they're within like 3.5 minutes to go, and they're within 7. That's like 40 to 33, 30. No, the initial with 30. So it would have been, 30 to 23, whatever it was, 37 to 30. So it's 37 to 30, and they kick, and then the guy literally just, there he goes again. There he goes. He's going to run it to midfield on you. Like, how are these unbelievable? Every one of these players was great at the collegiate level. They got guys that are known for being special teams players. How is it you line up and all night you never make an adjustment? So I guess we give the special teams coach credit for having a kicker who's unbelievable, although I think he was doing that before the special teams coach showed up. So I'm not sure really if he's had anything to do with that. But from a coverage standpoint, just pitiful. Just pathetic right now. And it is frustrating. It's very frustrating to watch for Cowboys fans. And their chances, which could have been up around like 41 to 45% at a playoff opportunity if they won that game, go all the way back down to 9% or 7%, whoever you believe. Detroit jumped up to like 55%. Welcome to the playoffs, guys. Welcome back from the dead. They can get in there. They're fine. They're now like 8-5. They got everything going again. Cowboys missed a huge opportunity. Brian Branch got hurt. the really good safety. Their offensive line was banged up. I mean, Detroit was missing some players, and yet Muhammad had 3 sacks. Hutchinson had 10 pressures in that game. Cowboys had 9. Cowboys had 9 the entire game, and one sack, and it was James Houston, who, by the way, used to play for the Lions. James Houston had a sack. That was it. Didn't have a lot of pressures, had 9 the whole game. Scotty, from what I saw, Dak dropped back 54 times, 20 pressures. So if this does anything that you say, well, what could I like about this if I'm a fan? Well, it eliminates any of this playoff mess. And so you can get back to actually trying to view yourself for what you are and looking toward the draft, looking toward free agency, looking to see who you want to re-sign, everything over these last 5 games. How many games are left? What are they now? 6-1. That's 13 games. So that's 4 games left. God, they could have run the table. It really wouldn't that have been something? It would have been fun to watch because they would have been favored in all those games, but they could not get it in Motown. And boy, we were happy last night to be able to bring you the Doomsday podcast. Very, very wow. It was one that ended up doing some really big numbers, and so thank you for that. And just a reminder to the folks that are discovering the Mosley YouTube show that you can also sign up and follow the Doomsday podcast, and you can give us a follow on YouTube for that. Really considered one of the top NFL podcasts in the game, especially on the Cowboys. There's a lot of them out there, but this one has a little bit of everything, including our former Cowboy scout and coach, Glenn Stretch Smith. And we want to apologize for his language last night. He was driven to using foul language. You hate to see it. You hate to see things like that, but it certainly happened. All right, tell you what we'll do. Scotty, let's come back. We got more Cowboys in the 2 o'clock hour. Let's do some Campus Confidential, though. Let's catch everybody up on what's going on. We've got movement, it appears, finally, on the Penn State coaching job. And then that's going to open up something. That'll open up a Big 12 job if that happens. And that will be interesting to watch because a lot of these coaches have already been hired. A lot of these guys have been and always a bummer when you see somebody wait around, get their class together, and then they leave. Not cool, although Matt Campbell has been extremely loyal. Let's do some Campus Confidential. Let's do it next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
When you strive for greatness, you have a target on your back. And when it comes to finances, we're all targets for scammers. With the right game plan, you can protect yourself. Don't get faked by fraud.
Here's a tip. No reputable company or government agency will ever ask you to pay them with gift cards, Bitcoin, or a person-to-person payment app. Scammers use these options because the money can't be traced. Just don't do it.
This message is brought to you by Central National Bank.
With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated. Each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Golf Partner, overwhelmed by your inbox? Clean Email is here to help. Organize, clean, and manage your emails with powerful automation tools. Say goodbye to spam and clutter and enjoy a stress-free inbox. Try Clean Email today at cleanemail.com.
Football is back, and Underdog is the best place to make picks and win money all season long. Playing on Underdog is easy. Just pick whether your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. You can play with as little as $1. Download the app today and sign up with promo code Mosley to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code MOSLEY. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money.
Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play-and-get-terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369.
Oh, yeah. It's time for football, baby. Weekend is here, and I've got some picks for you on Underdog. It's all about the running game this weekend. If you want to make some money with me on Underdog, here's what you need to pick. First of all, LJ Martin is going to need to have a big game for BYU to hang in there with Texas Tech this weekend. And listen, this guy has been the best running back in the Big 12 this season. Offensive player of the year in the Big 12 this season. Give me LJ higher than half a rushing touchdown. And while we're talking about rushing touchdowns, did you know Josh Allen set the NFL record last week for rushing touchdowns by a quarterback? He'll get another one in the big matchup against Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. Take Josh with higher than half a rushing touchdown as well. And listen, there is only one team in college football this season that has over 300 rushing yards in a game. That team is Indiana, and they've done it 5 times this season. Roman Hemby is their lead back. And you're telling me I've only got to take 51.5 rushing yards in that Big Ten championship game against Ohio State? I know Ohio State's defense is good, but Roman will have higher than 51.5 rushing yards. I did the flex pick, so if I get 2 of these right, I win money. If I get 3, I just win more money. You can do the same. Underdog, use the promo code Mosley. Get that free $50 of bonus cash when you put in your first 5. Hey, Matt.
Hey, bud. I got to tell you, the only one I kind of disagree with is that LJ Martin. I was just looking at some video of that first matchup between those teams, and man, they just shut that run game down all the way. Now, this will be on a neutral field, so I mean, I totally see what you're saying. Has LJ put up some huge TD numbers this year? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, and so that's, Matt, that's part of why. Let me pull up his stats for the season. It's part of why I picked the touchdowns number and not the yardage number, right? Because I acknowledge it's very possible that Tech could hold him low on yardage. It is going to be an emphasis for BYU. Kalani Sitake mentioning that on Inside the 12 this week with Pete Souza. Blocking, run blocking going to be the emphasis. But he does have 11 touchdowns on the season. If they get into the red zone, you know, the advantage of having a 250-pound quarterback that can run is that it opens up those lanes for the running back as well. So, yeah, I think he'll get into the end zone regardless of how the rest of the game goes.
He's not 250 pounds, is he?
I think he is.
Gracious. No. I mean, I think the number 47 is clouding your vision.
I'm sorry. He's 230. He's 230. He's 230. I think I might have heard Joey Maguire say 250 earlier this week, and he was probably exaggerating to drive the point to his defense.
I just was imagining, like you're making me think of that old Kentucky quarterback. They called him. He had a great nickname.
Oh yeah. He passed away.
We did lose him.
Yeah.
It's funny how, it's not funny.
But, you know, hey, 230, even at 230, Matt, that's Tim Tebow's size.
Big
Bear
dude.
Bachmeier.
Big dude. So, he's a big bear. He's our, he could have been one of us. A guy named Bear Bachmeier should be playing at Baylor. And I would, I would look for that. Hey, again, the silver lining, the Bears have more portal money than ever because they lost all their recruits.
Probably not enough to go get a starting quarterback from a conference rival.
Oh, I know. We're just doing jokes here. But hey, they can go get, you can get two big time premium, or maybe three like solid guys. Here's what I don't want to hear. Hey, man, we got this guy from Oregon. And I'll be like, yay, okay. All right. The Oregon, tell me about him. Well, he didn't get on the field for Oregon last year. Oh, okay. All right, but we got this other guy. All right, I'm ready. A&M, he's like 305 pounds. He's a run stuff. Okay, what did he do for the Ags last year? Well, he didn't play. Didn't play for the old Ags. Okay? I don't want that to be the story. I want productive types that are out there. And they did get a kid who was like that, Devin Turner, I think was his name.
Northwestern, yeah.
Northwestern, and he was a productive type guy, and sadly he got hurt. So
listen, the strategy for the transfer portal for Baylor needs to be the same as what a lot of these schools have done in their coaching searches. Find the proven success at the lower level. By the way, that's how Signetti got it done last season at Indiana. He had his 20 some odd best players from JMU jump with him to Indiana. Not everybody can make that jump, but it's way more likely if you're already – Keaton Thomas is one of these guys, right? They were hoping that Phoenix Jackson would be one of these guys, and he got hurt. If you're already racking up 100 tackles at the group of 5 level, you're probably going to be able to rack up some tackles in the Big 12, as opposed to if you're not playing in the Big 10, if you're not playing in the SEC – we don't know. We don't know if you're going to be good in the Big 12 or not. So,
hey, when we're providing this type of like fascinating college football insight, you got to put the graphic up. All right. We have got to let the people see it. There it is. Oh, let me look in a little closer at it. Let me get my eyes on it. You can see it in my sunglasses. Let's look at it shining into my sunglasses. Campus Confidential. It is that time of the day. And Scotty Swingler has gotten us off to a good start. Scotty, one thing I kind of find funny is the whole Baylor argument of like, even before, when Mac was still, and maybe he could have fired Dave at some point, but you would hear, well, they all these people, and Baylor's last in line, and oh my gosh, the coaching carousel, and who are you going to get? Who are you going to get, right? Like Scotty had put together this enormous.
I spent a lot of time on a piece I will not publish.
Yeah, you'll never see the light of day. Scotty, I think we ought to think about putting that out there someday. Just kind of keep it and just let that grow in value. But everybody kind of has that mindset of like, well, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Like, oh, well, you can't go get this guy now. GJ's lost his shine, and Trailer's lost his shine, and you hear all the negative Nellies, right? And then what happens is you get like 15 jobs open up. And then, Scotty, what do? Every one of these hires, you're like, well, that guy's pretty good. Well, Will Stein, I kind of like that guy. And like the JMU guy, that guy seems kind of interesting. It's just like coach after coach. Now, they're not all going to hit. They're not. The odds are that out of the 4 dudes that just came from the American Athletic Conference, within 3 years, 2 of those guys will get fired. We just don't know which ones. Could be Golish, could be Sumrall, could be Eric Morris, although I think he gets more runway because that program had truly bottomed out. But, let's not act like all 4 of those guys 5 years from now are guaranteed to have their jobs. But I do love who are you going to get, Matt? Who are you going to get? We don't have him. And then you just
there's a lot of good football coaches in America.
Yeah, yeah. And then even these guys that are kind of like, like, who is that? The Oregon defensive coordinator with a weird name. I mean, he's got kind of a different first name. It's a cool name, but it's different. And I forget wherever he's going. I can't remember. So somebody from somewhere is going to JMU. But anyway, I think to myself, well, okay, I don't know if he's going to be good or not. But, people keep hitting on. I mean, Kirby came from Saban's staff. Lanning came from Kirby's staff to so all that Saban tree is kind of nice. And then you start getting the guys that like Lanning's growing up. And then you got Dillingham over there who does an incredible job. That's why I get a little worried when I hear people go, you've got to be a sitting power forward. Wait, who are we? Like, look where our program is. We're not really in position to be dictating all these things. Okay, he has to have saved 100 people. He's had to make sure 100 people go to heaven, and he has to be a sitting power forward coach. That's not,
Matt,
not where Baylor is.
Matt, Baylor's never hired a sitting power forward head coach. And one of the things I pointed out in that article when I was working on it is Baylor's 2 most successful head football coaches since Grant Taff have been head coaches at the group of 5 level prior to coming to Baylor. Art Briles at Houston and Matt Rule at Temple. By the way, Grant Taff at remind me, was it
McMurray?
I was going to say McNeese. I knew that wasn't right. McMurray, right. So different era, but the point being, Baylor's 3 most successful football coaches came from being very successful head coaches at the lower level. Not that it always has to be that way, but clearly that formula works. So I don't know why people acted weird about saying, hey, Baylor should go all in for Eric Morris. Hey, Baylor should really keep looking at G.J. Kinney. Like, that is where it has worked for Baylor historically. It actually hasn't been the coordinators. Hello, Kevin Steele. Hello, Dave Aranda. Who have been outstandingly successful head football coaches at Baylor. It's been the guys who were successful head coaches at the lower level. And mind you, there will be more next year. Matt, one of the guys I told you about I really like, Casey Keeler. He's still going to be out there next year. One of the guys you and I both like, Baylor letter winner, Brian Newberry at Navy. He's still going to be there next year. G.J. Kinney. So you're still going to have opportunities to make a good hire next year. And by the way, if you do want to hire a good coordinator, Matt, you know who hasn't taken a head coaching job? Either of the coordinators at Indiana. There's going to be some demand for those guys in the next year. So there's a lot of good football coaches in America. By the way, I'm pretty convinced that the defensive coordinator at Houston, who I'm forgetting his name, but he's like 28 or 29, and they had one of the best defenses in the Big 12. The defensive coordinator at Houston and the passing game coordinator at Houston, who we all know and love, are also going to be head coaching candidates within the next 3 or 4 years. So
let's get Sean, let's let him call a play at some point in
my point is,
career, but okay.
I mean, Matt, in 10 years, if not 5, Garrett McGuire is going to be a head football coach in college football. By the way, Blake Blackmar telling me Garrett McGuire called more game-winning plays for us than either of our offensive coordinators in 2018, right? So, there's a lot of good football coaches in America. There's a lot of them. That's my point. There's a lot of them.
By the way, just a correction, Angelo State is where Grant
Oh,
was.
okay.
He
Thank
had been
you.
the head coach at McMurray. He'd been an assistant at Texas Tech. And then what I had forgotten is when they hired Grant, they had tried to hire the guy from New Mexico. And I think his name was like Rudy Feldman or something. And thank goodness we ended up with the great Grant Taft.
Yes.
But that's where he met his wife. She was a Texas Tech student, and he was coaching. He was an assistant coach at Texas Tech. He and Donnell met, and that began a beautiful marriage and life together. And then later on, when he was at Baylor, Texas Tech tried to bring him back as their head coach, and Grant said, "No, sir, I'm going to stay here." And then USC tried to hire him one time, and he said no. And so anyway, pretty amazing. That's how good he was over the years. I'm trying to remember who that it might have been either after John Robinson left there to go to the pros, but Baylor at one point went to USC and beat them when Grant was coaching. Now they came to our place and beat us on one of those devastating. I don't know if there's ever been a college team that has lost more games on like 99-yard returns. They had one against USC. They had one of Kevin Steele's first games where he tried to run at the end of the game to score a touchdown, and the guy fumbled, and he brought it back 99 yards. And guess, just to wrap that whole story up, guess who was on the sideline as the head coach for UNLV that day? The former USC coach, John Robinson. The man Grant almost replaced at USC back in the 1980s. And now you know the rest of the story. That comes up, by the way, Scotty, when I was in high school, in junior high, they would show us these old Walter Cronkite things. And at the end of the wait, now I'm getting them mixed up. There was one Cronkite did, but then there was this other guy. Okay, I don't want to get them mixed up. I'll come back to that because there's a guy that was, for years, I would hear it on WBAP, and he would, in his voice, he would go, "And that's the way." Paul Harvey. What was Paul Harvey's sign off? And now you know the rest of which one was Cronkite and which one was Paul Harvey. I'll have to look that up. All right, Scotty, what else do we have in Campus Confidential? It looks like it's actually going to happen in Happy Valley.
That's what I wanted to talk about first, and then I want you to pick these championship games, Matt. But Matt Campbell, after 5 or 6 years in a row of being the hot name for every Big Ten coaching opening, it appears as if Penn State is going to close the deal here. Pete Thamel reporting, along with others, they are working on finalizing a deal for Matt Campbell to go to Penn State. Now, what is funny is he has an almost identical record to James Franklin against top 25 teams. And as I joked with you before we started the show today, Matt, if Penn State's disappointed by a coach who, quote unquote, couldn't win the big one, Matt Campbell has never won the Big 12. Despite being one of the best coaches in the Big 12 for a decade, Iowa State has never won the Big 12 in his tenure. Regardless, phenomenal coach. I imagine it is a lot infinitely easier to recruit 4- and 5-star talent to Penn State than to Iowa State. No offense to my friends in Ames. And it appears as if the great Matt Campbell may finally move on from Iowa State after a very distinguished tenure.
Yeah, he when I see his age, I'm always reminded of how unbelievably young he was when he took over at Iowa State. And that's another thing, Scotty. You can't always make the obvious hire. And maybe that'll be the case with what President Livingstone comes up with as the Baylor AD. He was a guy who had won huge at like Mount Union, I think was the place. And then after that, he might have been at like Toledo or somewhere like that. And then, so he was in the MAC, perhaps. Then he goes to Iowa State, and all he's done is won. And, you know, I think he's like way better coach than James Franklin? No. But is he as good and maybe a little bit better, yes. And that's saying something, because like James Franklin has been fraudulent in a lot of ways, but as Penn State found out, you can discover what's on the other side of this thing. And they have struggled and struggled. And if they are able to get Matt Campbell, and if his agent is smart, and I'm sure that he is, he can get the most unbelievable deal you could ever get, what Matt Campbell can get out of Penn State. In fact, there were reports like Kiffin got a $91 million deal at LSU. Okay. You think, well, that's as big as anybody's going to get. There were reports that Penn State was willing to go up to $100 million, somewhere in the $100 million range for Kalani Sitake. And I would say if you land Matt Campbell, you've gotten yourself a really, really good coach. And so there you go. And by the way, Scotty, since I don't know if it matters to any of our audience, by the way, our Twitter audience today, Scotty, I haven't found them yet. I always like it when I see them out there on my Twitter, because then I retweet it. But anyway, the phrase comes from the Walter Cronkite historical reenactment show that he would do, and we would watch it in school, and he would go, "And you were there too." And so he would do this whole thing and kind of take us back to these reenactments, and then Cronkite would come on and go, "And you were there too." But the rest of the story was Paul Harvey. And Paul Harvey would tell the story, and then he would go, "And now you know the rest of the story." Scotty, were you old enough to have ever heard Paul Harvey? Does that name ring a bell?
Yes, it's just been a very long time, and I was the memories are not very clear.
And Scotty, we used to have there at my elementary school, we would start our day over at Phillips Elementary, and I'd be in Mrs. Johnson's homeroom class, and over the loudspeaker would come a voice. It was a very reassuring, nice voice, and it was Zig Ziglar. And he was known for being a well-known motivational speaker. He was kind of Tony Robbins before Tony Robbins. And Zig Ziglar would come on for his like motivational quote of the day. And that's the way we would start our day there at Phillips Elementary in Kaufman. They're in Kaufman, Texas. All right. That's how I became the man that I am today, with the help of Zig Ziglar. That's how it happened. All right, Scotty, what else do we have? Oh, we got these games.
Yeah, let's pick these games, Matt. Let's do it.
Okay.
It starts tonight, by the way, because the winner of this game almost certainly has an automatic bid to the college football playoff. North Texas and Tulane. North Texas, Eric Morris and John Summerall, I believe, as well, both still on the sidelines for this game.
Yes.
North Texas, at this moment, a 2.5-point favorite.
Does this happen at Tulane? Is that where they're playing this? A lot of times a team will get to host this in that conference, I feel like. Where is this ball game being held?
Yes.
Tulane?
Yes, it is being held at Tulane.
Okay.
I just verified.
I have a very hard time. Yeah, I'm seeing now 2.5-point favorite.
If you like quarterback play, this is a fun matchup with Mestmaker having one of the best seasons in a very long time by a walk-on true freshman, and then old Jake Retzloff, the BYU expat, playing for the Green Wave there.
That's right. Pretty good player. I have a hard time. I mean, I'm rooting like crazy for the Mean Green. I also have a Lake Highlands kid, a buddy of mine's son, plays safety for the Green Wave. So I've got some attachments. Got my father-in-law, UNT graduate. I am pulling for the Mean Green. My pick in this game, by the way, I think I saw the over-under at about 56. Kind of like the over, if that's the case.
Ooh, I'm seeing on ESPN Bet it is
65?
66.5.
Okay, well, I just remembered it wrong then. Okay, that sounds more accurate. I would take, I don't know what the weather is. I would take the under, but I wouldn't bet that. I would really focus on the line. And unfortunately, I am going to take Tulane to cover and Tulane to win outright, as much as I want the mean green. Don't you know, Oklahoma State fans will be watching. Like, let's go, coach. And the Florida fans will be watching. Come on, John. Come on, Coach Summerall. I mean, they'll count that as a win at their places, at their respective places. So I am anxious to see how that plays out. What other game do we have tonight?
By the way, I think I'm going to pick the mean green, so I'll go against you there.
Right, good.
Troy takes on James Madison, but James Madison is a 21.5 point favorite. I think that might be an ugly one. The other one of interest in the Mountain West, and here's relating this back to our conversation about head coaches. UNLV taking on Boise State. Boise State a 1.5 point favorite. Dan Mullen versus Spencer Danielson. Matt, if the Baylor job were to come open next year, watch both of those names. UNLV 10-2, second great season in a row under Coach Mullen. That is also happening tonight. The next one I want you to pick, 11 a.m. tomorrow, Texas Tech, 12.5 points. Favored over the BYU Cougars.
Give me the Cougs to cover on a neutral field. And though the Red Raiders they're going to have a great crowd out there. Never underestimate the Mormons and the noise they can make. And by the way, let's be nice out there. I was hearing tells of some of our LDS friends going on the road somewhere recently to a football game. And I can't remember where did they play recently. It was not Lubbock, but it was somewhere they went.
Oh, I saw this.
We had some ugliness. Ugliness.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, our Cincinnati friends. Now, I never like painting a whole crowd with that.
Right.
But if there were people chanting what it sounds like they were chanting, not good. And the people that were making those accusations were people that had been through a lot in the life of the church there, the LDS. That was wrong. That was bad. Now, again, I'm a little bit hesitant because the Cincinnati drunk fans aren't really thinking through all the sensibilities. There might be somebody from BYU who's had some trauma here, right? They don't have all this going through their minds. But that was an ugly deal. I hated that. So let's be on our best behavior.
Well, and keep in mind, Mosley, just to remind you of one of the feel-good stories this year. Before these two teams faced off the first time, there was that effort by a large group of BYU fans to donate towards the Texas Tech Team Barber's family, his wife recovering from a really bad car accident. We talked about that story, the GoFundMe. So I think there's a lot of love between these two fan bases right now, despite the stakes of this football game. And I think I agree with you. I think Cougars will cover, but I have a hard time picking against the Raiders to win this game. That's at 11 a.m. tomorrow, 3 p.m.
Wait, who do we have in the Big 12? We're supposed to have like a huge crowd, like 87,000 or something.
Oh, it's sold out. Great. Whatever the capacity is at AT&T Stadium, they announced like 2 days ago it's sold out. Yeah.
But who is our halftime act? Okay, I know this. I know the answer to my question. His name, he's a country act, and I think he's pretty good. It's just a little different. The Big 12 likes to be on the cutting edge. They love a good old rapper. I don't know if that's on the cutting edge, but they love to get like Nelly or somebody out there like that. They're going with John Pardee, or Party, Pardi, I think is this guy's name. Scotty, do you like country music?
No.
All right. I think you might like this guy, though. If you don't even like female country music?
I said No.
Wow. Wow. That's
not my cup of tea most of the time.
Wow.
I'll do some. Listen, peep the book, okay? Johnny Cash is a hero of mine on my Spotify Wrapped. Johnny Cash was my second most listened to artist this year. So I pay respect to the OGs, but Johnny Cash, of course, was a pioneer of kind of country and rock and roll there. I'll turn on some Garth Brooks occasionally, Matt. I grew up on some Tim McGraw, but if you're asking me about modern country music, I listen to zero. I listen to absolutely zero.
I think you'd like old Casey Musgraves from down there by Mineola, right outside.
Oh, I
Mineola.
like Casey Musgraves. I've just never listened to any of her music.
Okay, well played. She's very talented, and that's not me being weird. I'm saying she is a great singer and songwriter. All right, and very beautiful too. Okay, what else do we have? What other games do we have?
Let's pick three more. 3 o'clock. So 11 o'clock's the Big 12. 3 o'clock, SEC title game, Georgia, Alabama. Georgia favored by 2.5.
Georgia by 2.5, even though the Dogs never beat the Tide. In fact, the Dogs, I think they're like 1-9 against them in the last 10. It does not go well when these two teams get together. DeBoer's already beat him once this season. Georgia favored by 2.5. Give me the Tide. Give me the Tide to cover. Give me the Tide to win outright right there in Atlanta, Georgia. I just don't trust those Dogs, but it is hard to beat a team twice. I'm just saying that's Kirby's kryptonite. Anything, the sight of anything having to do with Saban or Bama sends him to trembling. So give me Bama in that one. What about you?
I'm going to make kind of a conditional pick here.
We don't have those. I'm sorry.
No. I'll tell you my thinking, and then I'll pick. The over/under is 48.5. If it's the under, that means it's been a defensive scrum, and I'll take Georgia in that case. But if this game becomes which offense do you trust more, I think Alabama has a far superior offense to Georgia. And so I'm going to pick Alabama because I think this game will go over. So I'm with you.
Hey, by the way, just a reminder, they got in a track meet with Ole Miss, and they won that track meet. I mean, they got in a big-time track meet, won that thing like 48-45 or something crazy like that. What else do we have, sir?
All right.
What's your next conditional pick?
The most uninteresting game on the surface, Matt, could have the most insane implications.
All right.
For the college football playoff, 7-5 Duke playing against Virginia for the ACC title. Matt, this line opened with Virginia favored by 2.5. It has moved. Virginia now favored by 4. Matt, if Duke wins this game, it is going to be an absurd mess of scenarios for the college football playoff committee to work through. But Duke right now, a 4-point dog against Virginia in the ACC title game.
So I think if Duke won, Duke and Virginia don't get in. We would see if the ACC could land a team. I still think they'll probably leapfrog Miami for having beaten Notre Dame head-to-head. They do not want to keep, although it's hard for them to keep Notre Dame out. But I think that's probably what they'll do. Yeah.
Here's the issue, and we've discussed it a couple times, but for those who may not have kept up with this, if Duke wins, the rules as written say that the top 5 highest ranked conference champions get an auto bid. It does not say the ACC gets an auto bid.
Correct.
That means your Big 12, SEC, and Big 10 champs get the bids. Your American champ between Tulane and North Texas gets the bid. And then it's who's higher ranked between JMU, who's currently ranked 25 in the playoff committee's rankings, or Duke if they win this championship.
And they could
And
try
so
to put Duke ahead of JMU.
They will either have to rank Duke higher than JMU and give them an auto bid, which feels wildly unfair to everybody, for being honest.
Yeah.
Duke doesn't deserve to be in this playoff.
No, they know it.
Or it's going to go to JMU, in which case you have two group of 5 teams. The power conference people are absolutely livid, and there are going to be multiple teams like a Notre Dame, like a Miami, God forbid, in Oklahoma, that miss because of how the rules are written. I'm rooting for Duke, Matt, just because I want the chaos scenario.
Yeah, but they're still gonna have to pick between Notre Dame and Miami, and it almost feels like they have to pick Miami. So the ACC
I'm saying they could both be eliminated if you have to give auto bids to North Texas or Tulane and JMU.
Wait, you're saying North Texas or Tulane? Yeah, so one
Correct.
of those teams gets an auto bid. Yeah. That's interesting. That's interesting to see how it plays out. I do think one of those teams, and then let's not forget that BYU could make this thing interesting by winning. Because
Correct.
Tech would stay up there somewhere. Tech would come down to. That's what's crazy is there any scenario where A&M gets shoved down to 9, or do you not see that happening? There's no way, right?
I don't know. It's hard to predict. I mean, because you just called this the chaos scenario for this committee is if BYU wins, gets the auto bid, you probably have to put them and Texas Tech in.
Tech goes down to like 6 or 7.
Sure.
And that could shove A&M down one, but A&M probably would still hang in there.
I actually think they might rank A&M higher if that happens, but who knows?
A&M higher than Tech.
Correct.
Yeah.
But
so.
if BYU and Duke both win, BYU gets an auto bid and JMU probably gets an auto bid, which knocks out 2 of any of these teams that are kind of on the bubble right now. I mean, it would be a nightmare for that committee, and it's going to be a nightmare for the SEC Big Ten defenders. I'm rooting for it just because I want to see what would happen.
Yeah. All right, that's fun. Okay, that leaves us one more game, correct?
You got to pick it, Matt. Ohio State opened as a 5.5-point favorite against the Hoosiers. That line has moved to 4. Ohio State a 4-point favorite right now against the Indiana Hoosiers. The 2 best defenses in college football. Clearly the 2 best teams so far this season in college football. Body of work, Indiana beat Oregon. Ohio State beat Texas. They've both beat all their Big Ten opponents. Who you got?
Do you think Indiana will have some kind of huge home field advantage here because they're playing in Indianapolis?
In Indianapolis, I doubt it, Matt. I feel like Ohio State is one of those fan bases that travels so well. They're used to this kind of game. I think it'll probably be like the Big 12 championship, honestly, where you would think Tech would have a massive advantage, but BYU's fans are some of the best traveling fans in the nation. It's going to be about a 50-50 split in that building. I expect the same in this.
Plus, we have a ton of Mormons in Texas. If we're,
yeah, that's part of why their fan base travels so well. Yeah.
Give me I cannot. Yeah, Ohio State's going to win this thing, and they're going to cover. They're going to cover the 4. I hate it. I want the Hoosiers to do it.
We should bet lunch on this.
Oh, you are taking the Hoosiers
1,000% and 1,000%
the Hoosiers to win outright.
1,000%, and I'll tell you why. Quarterback play. If this game is close, man, these are 2 of the 5 best coaches in the sport. Ohio State, defending champ. Have the pedigree, all that's valid. But if this game comes down to the wire, I would much rather have the best quarterback in college football, the upperclassman. He's played a lot of snaps and a lot of games. Nothing's going to shake him, and he's already beaten Oregon on the road. I'd much rather have him back there than a freshman. And Julian Sayin is a great player. He's probably going to be a Heisman finalist. But if it's going to be Sayin or Mendoza with the ball at the end of the game, I'm going to trust Fernando Mendoza to win that football game.
Here's what I'll say. Enjoy this while you have it, Ohio State and Indiana, because soon, on an annual basis, Matt Campbell in Penn State will be taking over this game. All right?
They will be there to lose every year.
Every year, they will represent one half of the Big Ten. Hey, remind me, what does the ACC do? Do they still have divisions? Like, remind me again why Duke gets to be in this thing.
I believe
their schedule. Like, I don't even understand it really still. Why is Duke? Why is a 10-2 team like Miami out of this thing, but a 7-5 team is in it?
Yeah, I believe it's because I'm trying to double check right now.
I mean, they may still have divisions or something, or there was some kind of like.
No, it's not about divisions. It's something about, I mean, Duke was 6-2 in conference play, same as Miami. Yeah, okay. I'm looking at it right now.
Opponents, something.
There were five teams tied for second place in the ACC.
Okay.
Duke, Miami, Georgia Tech, SMU, and Pitt were all 6-2, and Duke had the tiebreakers.
So all SMU had to do was beat Cal, and they
Correct.
would be in this ACC championship game. Can you
Correct.
imagine?
Correct.
You lose to Nick Rolovich and Cal. Wow. All right, Scotty. Let's. I tell you what. Let's take care of our folks real quick, and then we need to say goodbye. I got a couple of little quick nuggets, Baylor nuggets, heading into the weekend. Before we say goodbye to you, that's next.
If you want the best for your body, you want Ascension Providence, the largest sports and orthopedics group in Central Texas. Using innovative and cutting-edge technology, we're able to understand your body better than ever, delivering treatment with precision. And with our fellowship-trained and board-certified doctors, you'll receive excellent care. Work with a team dedicated to your health, wellness, and safety.
So you can perform.
At your best.
Ascension Providence, caring for Texas families for over 120 years.
It's the Restore Clarity Focus Patch, my little secret weapon for staying sharp, focused, and on task. Each box comes with simple instructions inside, so you always know exactly how to apply it. Each patch lasts for 3 days. I love that I can wear it all day.
But boy, it looked effortless.
Man, watch this.
Layups, floaters, threes. He was like an unsolvable equation.
I was born like this.
His resilience, his strength, his belief, adversity never stood a chance.
Know your power.
Ah, yes. Mosley Show. Boy, it's going to be a fun weekend. All these championship games. Appreciate Scotty for all his hard work today, as we have talked about the Cowboys' crushing loss I did want to say this is kind of interesting. And I'm wondering if he got an interview with President Livingstone or not, but there is an ESPN story from Dave Wilson, longtime friend of mine from the Dallas Morning News days, and he's with ESPN.com. Good guy, and he has written a story for ESPN, and the headline is "Why Did Baylor Decide to Stick with Dave Aranda?" I believe the story maybe came out yesterday, so I'll take a peek. And on November 25th, shortly after her announcement. So, yeah, I guess she did speak to ESPN for a story. So, but it's just now come out here in the past 24, 48 hours. So anyway, I'll keep looking at all this, but yeah, I was just trying to see if there's anything new that I needed to share with you. I had people reaching out to me today, saying, "Oh, I heard the Baylor announcement's going to come today," and I don't think you would want to do it like on a Friday news dump. I think you would want the excitement of actually some good news and a new hire and all of that. So a Friday afternoon or Friday evening announcement does not sound like the greatest idea that we've ever had. I'll continue to ask to speak to President Livingstone, but I think, and again, this story, apparently she did speak to ESPN. So yeah, we'll look at it and we'll find out, on that front. I thought it was interesting that, a couple things. Doug McNamee's name has been mentioned. Doug's an old friend of mine, was the external when Mac was hired. He really, in those early days of that coach search and bringing in Rule and managing a lot of what they had to manage, Doug, I think, was extremely helpful to Mac. And then Doug went and did something with Magnolia and a couple other things. So he got out of college athletics, and he would really worked his way up and was a talented guy. He certainly knows Baylor. He knows who all the people are in this. And I think some people have talked about how he would be a really good fit. That he's an interesting one because I've heard from Wren. I've been in touch with Jeremiah Dickey. It just hit me during that break. I said, well, I hadn't talked to Doug in a while, and Doug has not responded, which again, that happens to me occasionally. So it could be just Doug doesn't have time or he doesn't want to respond right now, but also could mean that he's in the running for something here. Again, guy I've known for a good long time. And would do a great job. It's just, the only thing about Doug is he's kind of been out of the game for a while now. And so that would be an interesting deal because I would say he's now been out of college athletics for like 6 or 7 years. It's not like he doesn't stay plugged in. In fact, when DBU needed a new AD, I was kind of talking to some of them because the guy that had left was a friend of mine who went to UNT, Connor Smith. And I kind of told him, I'm like, well, this McNamee guy would probably be great. And at the time, Doug did not have an interest in that. So would he have an interest at Baylor? Probably. The money would be a lot better. It would be, a much bigger platform and all that kind of stuff. So we'll keep an eye on it and we'll see as we head into the weekend. So yeah, this will be very, very interesting, and I'll check out this story and I'll get with you guys. And of course, follow me on Twitter at Matt Mosley throughout the weekend. I did also, Scotty, think it was interesting that the Arkansas coach announced his 2 new assistants. His OCs coming with him from Memphis. The defensive coordinator is a name that we all know, Ron Roberts, an old friend, the old Baylor defensive coordinator, got thrown overboard after 2022. seemed kind of maybe he was mean to the kids or wasn't as relational as they needed him to be. He landed on his feet with Auburn, did a pretty good job there. Auburn defense was never really the problem for the most part. Then I think ended up at Florida, and now has made his way to Arkansas, where he will be the defensive coordinator for the Hogs under this Ryan Silverfield, the new coach there. So just a few college nuggets to send you on your way. And Scotty, let's do one last check, because nothing irritates me more than breaking. Oh, Scotty, we did have hit the sounder real quick because this is something you actually care about. So we got that about a couple of hours ago. They did the men's cup, the men's World Cup draw, and this happened in Washington, D.C. I think President Trump was involved, as well as some other nations' leaders. The United States will face Paraguay, Australia, and the winner of a playoff featuring Turkey, Romania, Slovakia, and Kosovo in the group stage of the 2026 World Cup. All right, this is a 48-team World Cup, and then we're thinking about everybody who's qualified for the cup and all that. But big news in the soccer world, and that is a big time. That's a big time deal right there. So we'll keep our eye on that situation. Scotty, real quick, is that a good draw for the Americans? Paraguay, Australia, and then anybody that comes out of that group. Okay, does that work out pretty well for the Americans?
It's actually hard to imagine a better draw for America. Yeah, Paraguay, a team you just beat in a friendly last month. Probably ranked higher than you, but certainly a beatable team. You'd much rather play Paraguay than any of those big European squads, England, Spain, etc. Right? And then Australia, a team that's given the U.S. some problems, but again, a team you should have more talent than on paper. And so, the top two from each group advance to the elimination bracket, and it would be astonishingly disappointing if the U.S. can't advance out of this group.
Okay, I like that. And by the way, thanks to Brazos Landing. We'll be down there soon. The Landing, it's where we leave it every day at the end of our show. Our special shout out to the great folks and the Lindsay family there at Brazos Landing. In fact, in the coming weeks, we will be going live from the Brazos Landing, and that will be fun. And we'll do one of our live shows. That'll be a lot of fun as the Americans get ready for the World Cup, and that'll be good. I'm the coach's son is a player that interests me, and then there was one player that had some trouble with the last coach, Berhalter, and there were some really. I think he was the son of a former American player. I think that was Reina's son. And that was an ugly scene. So I'm hoping this new coach has calmed everything down. The Americans have some exciting new players, and maybe, just maybe, they're starting to put things together. I do kind of jump on the World Cup. It's a fun event, and so I'll try to get involved in that. And wow, that's a tough ticket, and that's going to be some crazy trying to manage all that. But that'll be very exciting to have that in the States and wherever. I mean, it'll be really fun. All right, boy, Scotty, good work today. Fun program. It's been a busy week. We'll react to anything that happens this weekend on the Baylor front, the search, and we will look forward to visiting with you. Thank you for everybody that's been a part of this. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon. This has been the Matt Mosley Show with Scotty Swingler. Have a great one.